The RX150s provide some of the most frantic action we have within the MSA British Rallycross Championship. And this weekend, they're at Mondello Park. It's 2 days of racing, a championship round on each day, and with two different circuits because Mondello is being run anti-clockwise today and clockwise tomorrow. Chrissy Palmer is the man who heads the points after qualifying, fastest in Q1, but Mark Scott, quickest in Q2 and Q3. And Scott, of course, has had some very good results within the championship this year. We're ready then for the final for the RX150s. The grid is formed and they line up with Chrissy Palmer on pole position. He's got for company Mark Scott and then Kurt Langley with Brett Harris on the second row. Steve Jones lining up alongside him. Jake Taylor is the other driver on the grid. We're racing. Chrissy Palmer it is who blasts away. But the champion is out-dragged on the run to the first corner. Kurt Langley tries to dive between him and Scott. Palmer has to give way. Langley on the grass. He muscles his way through into the lead, but Mark Scott fights back and takes up the cudgels as they hit the loose for the first time. But Chrissy Palmer, perhaps very intelligently, has jokered straight away. That gets him out of any more drama, any more contact, and it also means that now, although he'll fall behind the traffic, he can just push on and then pick up places as the battles ahead delay the drivers involved. It is Mark Scott leading the way then. Chrissy Palmer, double winner this year. John Ward was the other winner we had at Lyddon. John the Irishman not having made it through into the final, frustratingly. It's not been the season he wanted really in RX150s, as there you look at Mark Scott, the leader. Son of Andy Scott of Albertech Racing fame. They all came out of RX150s. Andy these days racing in the European Championship, occasional world outings. But Mark Scott back in RX150s and going strongly. Kurt Langley then, the Liverpudlian, chases after him. And Langley gets quicker and quicker each time out in an RX150. Coming under attack, but not anymore from a spinning Brett Harris. Brother Jake out in the supercars earlier on in the weekend. Brett Harris rotates and falls back. Chrissy Palmer is playing catch-up, having jokered early on. Now Mark Scott is still trying to make good his escape here as he works his way through Southside Motor Factor's corner. He's on the loose with Kurt Langley shadowing his every move. Is that gap coming down? It is a little, perhaps, but where is Chrissy Palmer in relation to them? Because he has jokered. The joker lap is slower, so once you serve that, of course, you do drop back, you lose time, but Palmer is third and he's closing on the two ahead of him once more. Clear road ahead of him means he can just keep on pushing. Really sideways, flicking left and right there, Kurt Langley. 954cc motorbike engines, they weigh next to nothing, these cars. They're very spectacular to watch and drive. Through goes 89, that is the recovering Brett Harris. Chrissy Palmer then comes across the loose section of circuit here. He's on the tarmac and Langley's in the tyres. We've not seen many people do that this weekend, but Kurt Langley in the final as well, when you can ill afford to do it, headbutts the tyre barrier. Palmer accelerates his way now down towards turn 2 and then in towards Mobile 1, chasing this man, Mark Scott. The gap is coming down. Is Palmer going to be able to inherit on the joker? Let's see. There is Scott. He will joker this time. And there's that yellow flag warning him of a car off the road and the tyre barrier damage as well. Scott hit the brakes, locked up a little bit there. This is where Langley got it wrong. He threads his way through. It didn't look as though that was quite as much of a chicane as it used to be. And he's come out in front as well. Just wonder whether the tyre barrier has been damaged by Langley hitting it so that it wasn't the full right, left, right taken there by Mark Scott. Hard to see on that shot, but it just looked a little bit quicker at the end of the element. And a spin for Palmer. That doesn't happen often. Chrissy Palmer, in his efforts to catch up with Mark Scott, has a spin. So it doesn't really matter about the chicane anymore because Mark Scott has no opposition. He comes through ahead. There is Kurt Langley, who has got going again. Chrissy Palmer has rejoined and he's having another problem. Is something broken? He stands on the brakes for the first corner on the lap, the Southside Motor Factor's right-hander, but something has gone horribly wrong there. It's a right-hander on the clockwise direction. I'll grant you it's the anti-clockwise run today, but Chrissy Palmer in trouble. There, over the timing line to win, is Mark Scott, but something has gone horribly wrong for the regular dominator of RX150s. Here is Steve Jones coming up towards the line. What a weird race, and Chrissy Palmer in all sorts of strife, and that is not going to help him in the championship. So the race result confirms a win for Mark Scott. Steve Jones second, Brett Harris after a spin third, Kurt Langley after being in the tyres fourth, and Chrissy Palmer after a couple of spins in fifth. For the championship, it is Palmer ahead, kind of, because he's tied with John Ward. Kurt Langley is third ahead of Jake Taylor, and Steve Jones and Brett Harris are fifth and sixth.